Learning to draw cubes is a fundamental skill to learn and a crucial step in building a strong drawing foundation. But why is it important? What's so special about cubes? And, well, you can draw lots of things with cubes. You can draw ice cubes, sugar cubes, boxes, cubes. But you can also draw buildings, robots, castles, furniture, vehicles, cliffs, all kinds of man-made objects, and even certain things in nature. Oh yeah, I said cliffs. Yeah. But a great thing about cubes is that even if the thing that you're drawing is not a cube, you can sculpt cubes into other shapes. You can cut bits off of a cube or add stuff to cubes to create other shapes or help you understand how other shapes will work by starting with a cube. They're also extremely helpful in understanding perspective. So what is a cube? Well, if you want to get into all the geometry and cool nerdy stuff, just go look it up on your Wikipedia. With a cube, you start with a square, and then you take that square and turn it sideways and put it together and make up all the sides of a cube. So it's a three-dimensional square with lots of sides, 6 sides to be exact, and it makes a 6-sided object. The fancy geometry name for it is a regular hexahedron. If we look straight down at the cube, it just looks like a square. But as soon as you change your perspective on it, then you can see that it no longer looks like a square at all. If we look at it at this angle, it kind of looks like a hexagon, where it's made up of all these little diamond shapes. Or if we look at it from this angle, it's like a square with a hat. So depending on the angle that you're looking at a cube, it might not look like it's made out of squares. But it is. It's just because those squares are at certain angles. Like what we talked in the other video, if you look at a square straight on, but then you tilt it, it starts to get squished. That's called foreshortening. If you turn it sideways and then tilt it, then it starts looking like a diamond shape. Keeps going, and then it's just a line. But with a cube, if we start tilting it, then we start seeing other sides come into view. If we turn it facing this way and start tilting it, we see the other sides come into view and then go away. So at most, there's only 3 sides that are visible. To learn how to draw a cube, I'm going to borrow a technique that I learned from Mark Kistler. So what he does is he will draw a dot, and then go to the side, draw another dot, and then between those 2 dots, kind of go up above it, draw another dot, and then down below it, and draw another dot. Now we just connect the lines, or connect the dots. So at this point, it's like our square, but then it's tilted towards or tilted away from us to create this diamond shape. So now to create the rest of the cube, let's draw a line on the left, come down about that far. Now on this other side, let's go down just as far. Same amount of distance. Now for this middle line, we're going to go farther. It's going to be about the same length as these sides. Then you've got 3 more dots, and we just connect those dots. Alright, there we go. That's how you draw a cube. If you want to learn more about drawing cubes and how to draw in 3D, you should go check out Mark Kistler's stuff. He is a cube drawing master. I highly recommend his videos and books. So when we look at the cube, from this angle, we only see 3 sides. But sometimes when you're drawing a cube, it's helpful to, if you want to envision how the cube should look, sometimes it's helpful to draw all of the sides kind of lightly through, like it's made out of glass or clear plastic. So to do that, I'm going to do the dots again. This time I'm going to get super fancy. And I'm going to draw a cube instead of straight on. I'm going to rotate it a little bit like this. and put the dots over here and here. Connect the dots. Draw straight down. Okay, so this is where we will start to see the invisible sides of it. So if I go down with this line, and then matching the direction of this line, put it over here, and then matching the direction of this line over here, then you can kind of see what the back side of the cube looks like. And you can see all 6 sides of that cube. Another way to draw a cube is to visualize the square and then imagine it from a certain perspective. So if I'm going to draw a cube like this or like this, and then you extrude out the other sides of the cube based on whatever this first side looks like. And that's kind of what we did with this. First we drew the top and then we extruded down the rest of the cube. Oh, by the way, if you want to practice drawing cubes, I recommend getting some sort of square or like even a sticky note pad that you can look at from different angles. Or if you want to build a cube out of paper or get a box, having a reference is helpful in seeing how the cube looks. You can also look at it from farther away. So if you look at the cube far away from you, there's not a whole lot of perspective change. It's almost an orthographic view where it doesn't look like anything's getting closer to you. It's all the same size. But then if you move the camera in or put your cube really close to your eye, you can kind of see these edges start to pinch together as they get farther away because they're getting a vanishing point perspective. So you can get your eye up real close to a cube to see what kind of crazy perspective you can get on it. Okay, so another thing that we can do with cubes is treat it like the cube is a cubic lump of clay, and then we'll sculpt it, chopping pieces off of it or adding pieces to it to get other shapes, to sculpt other shapes out of a cube. So to do this, I'm going to start by just drawing our cube that we already learned how to do. Just basic cube. And I'm going to draw the other sides invisible through the cube. Okay, so we've got a light outline right here. I'll darken it in, why not? We've got our cube here. So what would it look like if we drew a circle on the top? So looking at a square, here's our square. If I draw a circle inside the square, looking straight at it, it's just straight up, it's a circle. But then because we rotated and tilted the cube, it's a diamond. So what shape is that circle? Well, the circle touches each side here. So if we draw that shape of the circle inside the cube, kind of helps us figure out the perspective, it becomes an oval shape. Draw another oval down below, it's going to be invisible, but then we draw the sides of it down the cube. So we're kind of chopping on each corner, we're chopping off that kind of shape from the cube. So then by chopping off that bit straight down on each side of the cube and drawing a circle in the top and bottom, what we get is a cylinder. Ta-da! Okay, another shape that we can do. Let's just do a really simple one. I've got my invisible sides. All right, so here's our cube. I'm going to draw a pyramid. So to draw a pyramid, in the very middle of that, I'm going to put a dot. And then that dot I'm going to connect with these 4 sides. Well, not this one because it's out of view, but if I connect that dot, whoops, not really, and I chop off all of this other stuff, then I get a pyramid. And you can keep going with this and draw all kinds of shapes. I'll make another video where we can practice this technique together. Okay, so we're out of time to do any more practice in this video, but to really get the hang of drawing squares, we'll need to practice. So I'll put together some videos where we can practice drawing squares together and try out some of these different techniques and drawing exercises. If this video was helpful to you and you want to know when I post another one, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.